Hello everyone, this is Eagle and welcome back in Steel Division 2. This time we are back to review the 43rd Reserve Army, one of the divisions, if we can call it that way, in the Soviet divisions. So it has been a while since we reviewed the Soviet divisions, so now we are back to talk about this 43rd Reserve Army. So as we can see here, Eugene says that the 43rd Reserve Army was actually formed in 1941 and it fought in several battles, and it was operating under the mechanized banner, which means that it was a mechanized army basically. And it featured specifically the 36th Penal Battalion. Basically, penal battalions are battalions that consist of disgraced officers that are serving in these kind of battalions in order to clear their rank or to recover their original rank. And Eugene says also here that this army features some units like the Su-122 and the Su-152 and a capable air force. So now that is what Eugene says. However, I did some research in order to validate this. So it is indeed formed in 1941. However, there is a big question mark here on why would Eugene use a reserve army as a division. So this reserve army, the 43rd Army, was actually consisting of 11 divisions in total. So you can see how big an army can be. So it wouldn't be an accurate historical representation to put this army with these divisions or these corps. I mean, we talked before about the corps and the division, and we said that in some times the corps were in the size of the division, so this would be accepted. But the reserve army here, the 43rd Reserve Army here, was an actual army consisting of 11 divisions, and it was not a mechanized division or not a mechanized army. Neither it was a tank army as Eugene represented here with the tank icon. It was actually a rifle army, but it had two tank divisions in it. And the weird thing also in this army here is that Eugene did not include proper artillery, and it doesn't make sense that an army of this size wouldn't have proper artillery and only has some mortars. And according to several resources, which I include some here, as you can see, the 43rd Reserve Army had 2 regiments of artillery actually, and in some other resources even it mentioned that it had 150 batteries covering the front line in the in Operation Bagration in particular. So you can refer to the 3 books that you can see on the screen for further details about this. However, I find it very strange the way the artillery is represented in this army. Moreover, this army also lacks proper anti-air, which doesn't make sense as well for an army of this size. So I would consider representation of this whole army or division as historically inaccurate. Also, one more thing here to add is that I couldn't find anything related to the 36th Penal Battalion. Yes, there was some penal troops spread on many armies, and maybe on the 43rd Reserve Army, but I couldn't find any resource pointing out to this particular 36th Penal Battalion. But anyway, this is all what I have about this army or this division. Let's see how I started configuring this division, or how did I set up my troops in it. So here we are. This is the division, or if we can call it that way. Of course, all the information I mentioned and all the references are included in the description of this video. Feel free to check it out. But anyway, let's now analyze this division. So if we go to the Recon tab, it doesn't actually include much. There is Fitka T-34, and we notice here that there is Fitka troops which used to carry the bazooka is not around anymore. So I only added one card of the BA-10M, which is a fast light armor, which can be used effectively in many situations. Moving to the infantry tab, and what I like about the infantry tab here is that it has lots of variety, a little bit different than the normal conventional and standard way we usually see in the Soviet division in the game. I would say though that, considering the fact that this is an army, maybe Eugene should have increased the number of activation points at least than the normal divisions. But anyway, at least we have enough slots of rifles or of infantry units here. So we have this unit, which is basically consisted of conscripts, and they are pretty weak. However, they come in large numbers, so you have 18 cards of this, so, and they are very cheap, so they are good to start with in phase A. That's why I included them. And then I added one commander card, which would be useful, of course. So I figured out that in the Soviet troops in general, you must use the commanders, and in general in the gameplay it is a good practice to use commanders. And then I included Sabiris, but these Sabiris rocks are actually flamethrowers, but they are consisted of 12 men, or a strength of 12, so they have some automatic, semi-automatic rifles as well, so they are pretty good. So that's why I included them also in phase A. Again, I included Tanko Desaniki, which are good in close combat, as well as some automatiki, but this automatiki I included on the in the phase B. However, this Tanko Desaniki also comes with the M2A1 as usual, which provide great support for the infantry. So as I said, I usually try to mix between long range and close range, so these units can provide somehow medium range, while the other two Sabiri and Sabiris can provide actually close and medium range as well as the long range, because they have these DB-28s. However, the Tanko Desaniki is specially made for the close combat. In phase B, I used the automatiki, which are also good in close combat, as well as the Sibiris here, which are good in both close and medium. And we have here this Strafniki, which is basically the penal troops that is Eugene talking about, and they have two types of them. One of them is basically used for medium and long range, and the other one is used for close combat. So I had one card of them in phase B. They are pretty expensive because actually they are consisting of 20 people, or strength of 20, while in this one also consists of 15. So they are pretty good infantry units, which is a must to take. And I added one card of Sabiris in phase C, so I added too much infantry in this division, something that is lacking in all other previous divisions. So far I think this division is great. I mean, the options which I found so far. Let's continue. So moving to the tank tab, we have several options here. We have the T-34-85 and we have the IS-2 1943 as well, and we have the T-34-85 model 44 and the T-34-76. I did not add the KV-1S Comrotti, and the reason for that is basically that it does not provide too much availability, so that's why I did not take it. I only also took 3 IS-2s because they are pretty expensive, and there is a high chance that you will not be able to bring them all during the gameplay in 1 versus 1 in particular. Moving to the support tab, we have here the SU-152, which is pretty good as an HE gun, as well as the 122 millimeter, which has also some heat shells that can kill some tanks. So I used here the SG-43, which is much better than the Maxim basically, and that is because it has a better distance or a better range. So that was the main reason I used it. And then I used the SU-152 in phase A and also the SU-122. And of course I used one commander and one supply truck, as well as the SU-152 again in phase B. I want to refer here to this particular unit, which is basically a military police, but with a strength of 9, and it is good in close, medium range combat. However, I have already loaded my infantry cards with lots of infantry, so I did not need them, but they are also worth to take in case you wanna compromise one of these cards, because they are pretty cheap and they are good as well. So moving to the anti-tank tab, we don't have much choices actually. We have the M42 45 millimeter, and we have the ZIS-3 BT 76 millimeter, and we don't have bazookas or Panzerfaust in this division. Only Panzerfaust available with the commander. However, we don't have these. We only have the BTRS anti-tank rifle, and as I said also, this is a bit strange for an army not to have at least more variations of guns to be used as an anti-tank gun. So yeah, I didn't like the anti-tank tab here. Moving to the anti-air, also the anti-air here is pretty limited. So we do have here this Zenart 85 millimeter, which can be used, I used also this gas, which is okay. However, the problem with this particular anti-air unit that it has a very low range, so the plane must be right on top of the car in order for the car to fire on it. So most of the cases it's not good to use, but I actually used it just to test it to see how it looks like. But in normal situation I wouldn't use it, and probably I would use one of the Zen art in phase A. So moving on the artillery, and as you can see how poor is the artillery in this division. I did not like it at all. As I said, historical resources confirmed that the 43rd Army had actually regiments of artillery on the front line during Operation Bagration and even before that. So it doesn't make sense at all. Anyway, moving to the air tab. So the air tab here is pretty good. We have multiple choices to use. So I used the Yak 9B, which is basically medium bomber, if we can say, and it is also having a good speed in phase A. And I also used tank busters BE3BS and heavy bomber, as well as fighters LA7 in phase B. And the reason I did not use these in phase A is because I have the Yak 9B, which are pretty okay because of their speed. And then I used another card of BE3BIS. Looking of what we have here, someone might maybe replace one of these cards with the IL2 KR, which can be used as a close air support as well as a recon. You can get two of them in phase A. However, I did not use it. I don't like it because it's a bit slow, but somebody might disagree with me. Anyway, other than this, there are lots of choices actually, but most of them are expensive, so that's why I choose these units. So that was it. Basically, this was a brief on how I set up the division. In general, I didn't like the performance of the division, and that is because it lacked artillery and it lacked anti-air, which makes it pretty weak against bombardment and against air units. Yes, it does have good fighters, but the thing is, fighters in this game tend to be it tend to be difficult to actually destroy bombers using the fighters, because especially if your opponent has a fast bomber where they can hit and run basically. But anyway, let's see how this division, or how did I do or perform with this division in an actual gameplay, so we can identify its actual performance. This is a little bit longer game than I expected. I chose it to showcase the 43rd Reserve Army, and it's a good example to show. So I'm playing on the right side in red color, and my opponent will be playing with blue. We both started deploying our units. So let's see how the game goes. As I said, the 43rd Army lack proper artillery, it lacks also proper anti-air, but other than this, it is pretty okay. So let's see how things goes. So here we go. I have deployed all my troops on the right side and my opponent on the left. So my opponent is called ElBurro and he's playing Korchak 559, which is one of the good divisions in the game, while I am playing the 43rd Reserve Army. He's of course playing Maverick, and I am playing as usual in balanced mode or balanced income. So on the south I have deployed, tried to deploy my unit fast, but he has an MG here. I have an anti-tank gun in the middle. Also I'm trying to take these flags, as well as in the north, but the heavy fights is in the south. I was able to destroy some of his light armor, and I can notice that he started right away with a huge number of spam of the light armor, and I believe he's gonna try to adapt the strategy to rush, because he's playing Maverick, which what Maverick players do. This guy's AAA Maxim is only good to suppress the fighters or the bombers while they are on top of it. Other than this, it's just useless. But what can we do, because we didn't have proper anti-air? So he's concentrating some of his light armor in this area, trying to basically spot this road to disallow me from enforcing this first. In the middle, nothing is going on yet, and in the north I am able to have full control over this jungle, but he of course have 3 MGs guarding this hill, as well as back 36, which I believe has a range of 1000 meter. It's not gonna be very effective in that place, as far as I think. Yeah. Anyway, I'm trying to push here, but he has more superior troops, because my troops are basically just conscripts. So you have better troops in here. That's why I am pushing with a Yak 9B to bomb him. And he's trying to catch me with his BF 109, the Messerschmitt fighter. But I have proper anti-air to suppress him in this area. Here I'm gonna try to target his light armor, and he's trying to hide. In the center I am pushing slowly, trying to capture this flag, but he of course have 20mm light vehicles, pretty lethal against infantry. Here also he's not trying to push. He is putting all his efforts on the south flank. So he pulled out his light armor here because he saw my tank coming. So now his tank cannot hide anymore. It's either the T-34 or the anti-tank. So he lost it. I'm deploying the Su-152, which will provide great support against infantry. In the north, I tried to push, but I met his MGs, which are guarding this area. That is why I'm trying to bomb this MG, and I was able to destroy it. So far he hasn't been able to counter my fighter bombers. Here there is a battle between his light armor and my T-34-76. I was able to destroy it. Again, he has more superior troops. This advance is a mistake from my side because he has better opportunity to destroy my units from longer ranges. And here he's pushing hard with concentrated number of infantry and light armor, using Panzer II. In this area I started to push in the north, and I am able to suppress his MG. He's trying to support this flank by pushing one SBW light vehicle, but he lost these 2 flags, and now I am 14 flag and he is only 10. Okay, he was able to destroy the T-34 using a 76mm anti-tank. You also have one here which is guarding this area. My fighter bombers basically are doing good job trying to destroy his spammed unit, and again he was able to take down one of the units here. He's trying to destroy the anti-air, and these are pretty cheap, but also because considering the fact that I have weak anti-air in this division, so it's gonna be a loss to lose these. Anyway, the situation in the south that he's trying to push as much as he can. On the center, nothing yet. On the north, I have tried to push harder, trying to gain as much ground as I can, taking advantage of the situation in the south that he is putting his focus there. Let's see if I'm gonna succeed. We still have 12 flag both because he's pushing in the south as far as he can. He was able to take down my anti-air, and I'm pushing T-34s trying to support the south flank. One good thing here that I was able to take his anti-air down. So he pushed in the south, I pushed in the north, trying to balance the equation. So let's see. These light tanks are really good and when it comes to suppressing. It's almost able to suppress the T-34-76. I have my Yak 9Bs ready to hit the enemy. And again, another hit here against his advancing infantry. He's trying to take this area. So far he hasn't been successful in countering my fighter bombers. He has a 76mm anti-tank here, and he's trying to suppress my units using the Panzer II. Strange enough, he was able to suppress the Su-122, which is pretty strange. Man, this Su-152 should have some AB shells. I'm just not convinced of the way it's configured with only HE shells. It should have some heat or AB shells at least. But anyway, he deployed one anti-tank here. Actually, he deployed two, trying to take out my tanks. But the Su-122 is doing great against these kind of anti-tanks. And it took two of his anti-tank. Also here I was able to take the Panzer III, and I am pushing with the T-34. The battle is becoming intense on all the fronts, so here he's trying to take the center as well. On the north he was able to counter my advance somehow. He's putting a good defense, a good line of defense here. In the center I don't have too much troop to hold the city, so that's why I'm advancing two more T-34s. Here he has always superior troops than what I do or what I have, because most of my units here are just conscripts. I am continuously trying to destroy his anti-tank, and he started to realize this, so he started to deploy more anti-air, trying to suppress my fighter bombers and my bombers. He is doing a push here, but he lost two of his units already before he started the attack. And these Su-122 and the Su-85 are doing great job by suppressing the advance in this area. And here I am pushing with more infantry. We are now in phase B. That is his best advantage. So now he's gonna push for more troops. Battle is everywhere basically. So in the north I'm trying to push as much as I can. On the center I'm trying to hold against his attack, and on the south as well. He is gonna, yeah, he was able to destroy one of the T-34s using the Panzerfaust. That was unfortunate loss. As we can see, he has large concentrated infantry here. And he's also spamming more infantry in the center. The Yak 9B is trying to support, and finally I was able to take this flag. We still have 12 flag to 12 flag, and that is because he was able to repel my attack in this, or at least hold on the north. Intense battle here in the center. I'm trying to advance. And I was able to destroy one of his light vehicles, but he's also going to destroy one of my T-34s. I came too close to his infantry, and I almost lost my advancing unit. He has more troops in this area. And here I am still trying to push his units back using conscripts. I have 13 flag now, and I have actually 14 and he has 10. We are in minute 15, so he has to put more efforts to push. So he almost cleared my units from this area, but the amount of units that he has doesn't allow him to actually push, and he's able to establish proper anti-air in the south. He has 2 anti-tanks here firing on the Su-152. I'm trying to escape, but too late. In the center, I'm still holding, and he's trying to push in this jungle. I'm taking advantage of this unit behind his enemy line, trying to destroy whatever I can from anti-tanks or anti-air. Now I started deploying the mortar, which is the only thing I can do in this division, and probably the reason would be to destroy his anti-air to allow my fighter bombers and allow my bombers to continue bombing him, as this is the only way. I don't have proper artillery. As we can see, he is able to suppress. Trying to push here. Again, in the center I am still holding. So he's pushing large number of conscripts and grenadiers. He has 1 Tiger Vetted 3 here. So that would be a lethal one. Now I started deploying the close combat units. I was saving those for the last. So hopefully they can make a difference in this area. He's advancing with his Tiger against the Su-85, which I don't think it will win this fight. He has more amount of troops than I do in the ground, and this is because he has better income. Finally I was able to push in this area. He's still firing at my T-34 here. Let's see if he's gonna be able to destroy it, or I will be able to destroy the anti-tank first. In the center he was able to destroy the T-34 and push my troops back. He has more flags now actually, and we are in minute 18. Here I was able to clear the anti-tank. So the situation is in the north that I am trying to push. In the center I'm trying to hold, as well as in the south. I don't have any anti-air on the ground, which might be an issue if he decided to use large air units, large number of air units. So hopefully he won't. Let's see. However, I already deployed my mortars, the M37 and the 82 the M37 82 millimeter, and I have 3 pieces, 2 in the center and 1 in the south. And now I started deploying the IS-2 model 43, which would be the proper response to this vetted Tiger. He now deploying the Messerschmitt, trying to get down the Yak. Who will win? Okay, nobody wins. Let's see if he's gonna be able to destroy the yak. I deploy the LA7 to counter, but he's gonna run. He did not run. Okay, he might lose that BF. Let's see if he's gonna use it or lose it or not. And now he decided to escape. He knows that I don't have anti-air now, and he's gonna try to follow the LA7. So he went behind it too far, I think. I think this is a mistake, because he was not gonna be able to catch it anyway. So he should have withdrawn. Now the IS-2 is pushing here. He, by the way, has more flags than I do, and now we are entering phase C. So his ability to put more put more concentrated troop or put spam troops on the ground will be less, and that's when my chance come. So I started using my mortars, trying to destroy his flak 4188 millimeter. On the north, situation is calm. He's trying to push. On the center, he has more troops, so he's trying to take advantage of this by taking this city. He's advancing anti-tanks here, trying to protect the Tiger. So he did lots of effort trying to take the city, but unfortunately he is not able to do so. Trying to suppress his anti-air. He's now able to to take these two flags basically. I am advancing my IS-2. So he is going back and advancing the 75 millimeter back 40. I think he's trying to make a trap for this IS-2 in order to destroy it. Still no luck with this area. He has so many infantry, so clearing them from this jungle is a bit difficult task. On the center, he's trying to push. Again, no luck. Trying to do my best here by advancing the Sabiris to take this area. Taking this area will be very strategic because it will deny him from putting anti-tank guns or anti-airs in this area. He's still trying to push and take this city. I think he wanted so bad. So he has lost so many troops trying to get this city. So I'm trying to push in the south and here He's trying to do another push on the city, in the center. On the north, I'm holding this flag. Now we are both having the same number of flags actually. He's finally able to have this city. Let's see if he is gonna be able to keep it. He's still trying to advance his 40 back 40 75 millimeter. I got his commander here, which is a good thing. He lost now the veterancy. Here I'm trying to regain the city, regain control of the city, and he lost so many troops with that bomb run. Now I started deploying the anti-tank planes, and his plan did not work by ambushing my IS-2. He has, however, more flags than I do. But this is probably going to change. He has another Tiger here. So, as a response, another IS-2 is coming. He's sending the Panzer III, trying to support. This tank is really good against infantry. Panzer IIIG has 50mm HE shells, short barrel gun, so it is designed to counter infantry or to a supporting role. Here, an interesting fight between the IS-2 and a vetted 3 Tiger. And the Tiger lost. IS-2 is a beast, basically. He deploys the anti-tank plane. And that is a really bad scenario. I don't have any anti-air, but I managed to destroy the Tiger at least, and he was not able to kill the IS-2. And as a response, the LA-7 right away destroys his anti-tank plane. That was a big loss on his side. I'm now trying to advance. He has also, still he has so many anti-tank guns. He was well prepared for phase C. He had so many troops on the ground already, and that was something good for him. I am even using anti-tank planes, trying to suppress his infantry as well. He also has proper anti-air, as we can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's kinda having an anti-air defense system here, and he has more flags. So tide is on his side. Nice tactic from his side. And the ice 2 is still surviving against all these attacks here as well. So I'm doing much better in the north than the south and the center basically. Let's see if this is going to change, and T-34 here destroys his Panzer III. He lost all his ABCR shells. He only have 11 AB shells. This pack must have fired a lot. He's trying to protect this area with a T-34 and a 45mm. I'm deploying more anti-air. So here is an IL-4 trying to take down his anti-air. It was firing on these Panzer Grenadiers. He has so many anti-tank guns, and basically he's spamming the area with anti-tank guns. But so far I'm still trying to push. And finally I got his Sabiris and I gain control of this flag. So he still has more flags than I do. It's kinda interesting how this battle is going to end. Will he be able to sustain, considering that he's playing in phase C and he lost so many troops already, and he doesn't have the proper income to support his advance. He was able to destroy these 2 units during my focus on another area, I believe. So two T-34s attacking each other, but probably the T-34-85 is much better tank. Indeed. Finally, I'm clearing this area. So advancing his anti-tank so far outside the protection of the anti-air caused him to lose so many anti-tank due to the air attacks. I think now I am prepared to do my final push against him to make him lose his flags. He still have some effective anti-tank. Trying to withdraw, but I don't think I will make it. Yes, he was able to destroy it. He's pushing further with more infantry. Wow, he has lots of infantry. And I am taking this advantage that he's trying to enforce the south by pushing hard on the center and on the north. He almost has no anti-tank guns here, so pushing with tanks should be easier. I'm still also trying to take down his 88mm. An attack here using the anti-tank planes and the bombers was not very successful. Let's see if he is gonna destroy some of my planes. Yes, he is targeting the IL-4, and of course he was able to take it down. The Yak-9B advances, trying to take his BF-109, and the LA-7 as well. Now he is being targeted by 2 fighters. Let's see if he's gonna make it. He's trying to maneuver, nice maneuver, but he will not be able to make it. He lost the BF-109. Now the flags are the same. We have both the same number of flags. My time to push. Still have very effective anti-tank guns, denying me from advance. They still trying to push in the south. Here he made a mistake by having 2 anti-tank guns together. He almost lost both. This anti-tank is lucky. He survived 2 bomb attacks. His anti-air is less effective than before, thanks to the mortars, the only artillery that I have in this division. Somehow I lost my IS-2 in this area. Still have the other one here. 12 flag. Both of us have the same number of flags. He's still pushing T-34s. This division, Corsica, it has so many cheap tanks. Whether it's light armor or medium. But his anti-air is becoming less effective, which is a good thing. Okay, this area now seems vulnerable. In the south, I'm trying to advance as much as I can. On the center, I am gathering troops to make a final push on this side, trying to regain this flag. In the north, everything is calm. too late for using his bombers. He should have had this since the start. He's trying to just target my artillery. He missed. I have no anti-air whatsoever. The battlefield started to come. It's becoming more calm on all of the fronts except of on the center. I'm trying to target his anti-air. I'm trying to push also. Started deploying anti-air as well, and deploying more tanks here. I think I'm planning to make the hard push in this area, which is because it is the most vulnerable area now, I think. And here finally I am able to hold and take this forest. Have good defense here. So far everything is pretty calm. He again is pushing his another anti-tank plane. Let's see how many tanks he's gonna destroy. He's probably targeting the T-34. But I push my fighter, but this time I'm not able to destroy him. So I learned the lesson this time. I'm deploying Zen Art 45 85 millimeter. Pushing tanks here. He has no defense against tanks, just a small light vehicle. Small light vehicles here, light armor. Deploying now every piece of anti-air that I have. This area preparing for a hard push. Let's see if I'm gonna able to destroy this tank. He withdraw it fast, but I'm also coming from this direction, so I'm trying to surround him. I'm attacking from here and from here, so his units here are kind of stuck. Also doing a heavy bomb run. I'm coming from the back. He has a Panzerfaust. Oh, and he destroys the T-34. He survives the attack by miracle. But he lost most of his infantry in this area. And he loses also his Panzer 3. He is able to fire at the T-34 from the back, but the T-34 turns and destroys his tank. He has nothing here to defend now, so it's a really good chance to push forward. I think he's gonna lose the center. He's trying to do as much as he can, but now I have deployed my anti-air. This back was really annoying. The location which he uses also is pretty good. It's kind of targeting the road. There is few only location where you can put the back here. Anyway, here I have control over the mid now. He's trying to deploy some anti-tank weapons, some anti-tank guns, 45mm anti-tank. But will he able to do any difference by this anti-tank gun or not? We'll see. 15 flag against 9. I think he's collapsing now. Yes. Also, I made use of the anti-air. At this point I have a better anti-air than him, and I have a better air units as well. Let's see, there is a battle here. Come on! He loses the Messerschmitt, that is nice. So I have air superiority and I have better air defense as well. And in the center I am pushing all my efforts there, putting all my efforts in the center to push. I think at this point his line is about to collapse. I have 15 flag and he only has 9. IL-4 bombing the south flank. He doesn't have so many infantry left, and he loses also 1 tank from this attack. On the south I have full control and I'm pushing further. On the north even I'm doing a push. He's trying to get the IS-2, but the anti-air blocks him, and the LA-7 advances trying to take down his, and he decided to leave. I think he realized that it is already lost and there is no point from keeping the fight. So let's see here. He had some pretty good kills. He had kills 3,890. This is one of the longest games that I had, and I had 4,105. So this is almost close. I never played against him before. He is an experienced player. He's a lieutenant colonel. 72 victories and 44 defeats. He's pretty good player, and it was clear from the way he plays. Let's have a look at the kills and the losses from my side. So from my side, the fighter bombers did really a great job. As we can see here, he lost so many infantry units due to the bombers. Another Yak 9B destroys also lots of his units, including fighters. Sabir is here, also did some good job. The support guns, the support tanks Su-122, as we can see, caused him a lot. Also the IL-4, the bombers. Most of his losses are due to bombing run, and the reason I used the Air Force in this game heavily is because I did not have proper artillery. So far most of the scores are because of the air units, as we can see. The IS-2 did really nice battle with the Tiger E, and it was able to take it down in 2 occasions. Here we go, another Tiger loss. The T-34-85 also destroyed some of his units. So other than this, nothing really is interesting. I'm actually amazed by the number of the units he lost due to the Air Force attacks. Now we go to the losses from my side. So this Panzer II did really a good job at the start. He was able to take some of the gas, anti-air units, as well as some of the infantry. Other than this, everything looks okay. This flak, he did a good job destroying 2 tanks and 1 vehicle. That is really amazing. Also the Back 40. I think the hero of his game would be the anti-tank guns, because they destroyed lots of my armor. And from my side it would be the bombers. His Tiger E also managed to kill lots of tanks from my side before it gets destroyed by the IS-2. Same as this one. So other than this, I don't think there is anything else interesting. In general, this was a really good game. The 43rd Reserve Army is not as good as it should be, actually. However, in general, this was a great game, and I enjoyed it. So I hope that you enjoyed the game as well. Thanks everybody, and see you in future games.